Hi everyone, welcome to Hacker Heroes. Hacker Heroes is a new show by Integrity hosted by me, Pascal, where we are going to invite some of the greatest minds in the hacking industry to tell you some of their tales and stories. So this is going to be an exciting interview series for you, coming out every week right now, so make sure to stay tuned. And what would be a great hacker show without a hacker? And this is why for the first episode, we have invited Samuel Eng. And without further ado, let's jump into the interview. Today we're here with Samuel Eng right out of Singapore. Hi Samuel, how are you doing?
Hi, Pascal. Nice to meet you. I'm doing good.
That's great to hear. So tell me a little bit and the audience a little bit about yourself. Who is Samuel Eng?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Samuel from Singapore, and I'm currently working as a security engineer in ByteDance. So, like most hackers today, I am self-taught. So, I started to get hooked onto security when I had to fix my code in a university project. So, eventually, I started my first job as a security consultant. Then I started taking up offensive security certifications like OSCP, OSCE, and then move on into bug bounties to challenge myself.
That's awesome. I mean, you just mentioned the term bug bounty. Our audience is obviously always super interested in bug bounties, as you can imagine. So, when was the first time in your life that you heard about bug bounty?
Actually, I can't really remember, but I think it was when I Google about how to improve my hacking skills, and I discovered the Hacktivity feed from like a few platforms. Then like HackerOne, Bugcrowd, and eventually I just honed my skills through CTF. And previously I was like in CTF. It was there when I honed my skills, but it was a pleasant surprise that I can earn some cash from finding bugs too. So really happy about Bug Bounty platform giving everybody a chance to earn some extra cash and learn as well.
Exactly. But can you give me an idea when that was? Was that like in the early days in like 2012, 13, or was it just recently?
I think I started in 2017, so it wasn't that long ago. In fact, I think I was quite late to the scene.
Yeah, 2017 is still quite a while ago though, like four years ago. So you do have a lot of experience actually by now, because a lot of people they've just started out a year ago or even less than that.
Okay. Yeah, but there are some people that on Twitter they have like 20 years of experience, 10 years of experience. So it's obviously I cannot be compared to those guys.
Yeah, but I mean, we all got to start somewhere, right?
Yeah, yeah, right.
Do you remember? This is always my favorite question. Do you remember the first bug that you have submitted to any program?
Mm, if you are talking about valid bug, yeah, definitely it was a blind SQL injection.
Oh, that's a great one to start with.
Yeah, I was actually pretty excited about that. I got my first bounty with it actually. It was like a 1K bounty, so I was really happy. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, but of course, I have to admit that I submitted rubbish bugs also that was shut down really quickly. But I learned along the way. Yeah,
I guess we all had that situation before.
it's actually pretty embarrassing when I look in my old inbox, my inbox that was like 4 years ago.
But it's a good tale to tell, right? Like in 25 years from now on, that I can imagine like people hosting events where they speak about the beginning of their bug bunny career and show their kind of stupid bugs.
Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. But a really nice vulnerability to start with applying SQLi. That's awesome. And if you look at yourself in today's age, so right now, how many hours do you spend on hunting on bug bounties approximately?
In my first like few years of bug bounty, so basically it's like first 3 years, I guess. I spend around 4 hours a day after work to hunt.
Wow.
So this is non-inclusive for weekends. So I actually managed to get up to quite a high ranking with this strategy. But recently I have less time because of my role, my work. So I took up a new role and now only take part in like bug bounty challenges.
Okay. So if you say bug bunny challenges, can you explain what you mean with that?
Yeah, sometimes programs they host like a time challenge. So which means like around 2 weeks. So it means that the asset was not touched previously. So like they invited like a few top hackers to hunt on it for 2 weeks, and the bounty amounts are usually quite good. So I take part in that. So of course I need to sacrifice my weekends for it as well.
But in the end, it's worth it, I suppose.
Sometimes, obviously I cannot say I'm like a guy on like can find any bugs at will. I'm not that kind of guy, so I definitely need time. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm always a little interested in the like local situation of our guests. And you already mentioned that you're from Singapore. So I personally have been to Singapore before, but not for hacking reasons. That was for travel. So looking at hacking, how big is the hacking scene in Singapore? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, definitely. If you are talking about like pen testers, I think there is quite a significant number in Singapore. But
Really?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, there's actually a lot of pen testing companies in Singapore and third-party consulting service is actually in abundance. They are they are like everywhere. But if we are talking about bug bounty hunters, really not much, just a handful. And I think that most of the famous one, I think most of them know like Space Raccoon and a few others also. So
Yeah, Space Raccoon is super famous.
yeah.
Do you get to hang out with Space Raccoon and the others that you mentioned, or not really?
Not right now. I think COVID has made it really hard, but we
Right.
did take part in challenges together and hunt together sometimes.
Oh, that's cool. That's pretty cool. So, okay, yeah, now you mentioned COVID, which is obviously making things a little harder, but prior to COVID, and I mean, you said you started in 2017, so that was 2.5 years before COVID came. Did you had any like of hacking meetups, hacking, I don't know, like groups or anything where you would just sit down and hack along all day?
Yeah, I actually was the first guy to actually try to organize local meetups, but it didn't really went well because I couldn't find anybody interested to hack for a whole day, and it's
Mhm.
difficult to find like a guy who is interested in bug bounty in Singapore. But eventually, I think the government in Singapore has embraced bug bounties, and recently there are more attention to it, and like there are a few other that's up and coming. So hopefully we have after the situation of the COVID is better, we can organize meetups and hack together.
That sounds awesome. What is the government doing that is embracing bug bounties?
Yeah, I'm not sure if you know GovTech is a government agency that is specializing in technologies. So they are like the pioneer in like security or like technology in Singapore, and they are organizing like
Okay.
bug bounty events for Singaporeans or the global participants to take part as well. So I took part in like the three challenges. I had really good I have fun there, and also Space Raccoon also actually took part there as well.
Hmm. Okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. Like, I always like if governments make the move and show some interest in hacking bug bounty and realize that that's I think is the most important part. Realize that this is not a bad thing. It's not the bad people. It's the people that help you.
Yeah.
That's sweet. A little bit, okay, back a little bit to you as a person, because I'm always interested in the person behind the hacker. And I am wondering, what is the most exciting to you if you hack in general? Like, what is the most exciting to you?
I think like if you find a like critical bug, uh yeah, definitely that's the most exciting, right? I don't really get excited when find like medium or like low bugs, but if I find like a critical or high bug, definitely I'm pretty really excited to even like rush through the report. But I know that it only costs me, yeah, more problems, because the triagers will find it hard to reproduce and it will backfire. So I'm still
Yeah,
learning.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm still learning how to control my excitement.
That's yeah. I can imagine like a good RCE or something like that
Yeah,
makes
exactly.
you feel super happy.
Yeah, that's right.
So we're obviously having a lot of beginners who watch this series, right? And for them, one of the biggest question that I always get is, what is the first thing you do when you approach a target? This is something a lot of people want to know. What's the first thing you do when you approach a new target?
Yeah, I think most people recommend Recon, but I think the basics has to be right first, because I find that most people just recon like 90% of their time, and eventually they did not hack at all. So I think first thing we need to know is the basic and fundamentals. Of course, the attitude is very important as well. So it's important to have two things. I call it the DD: be desperate and determined. Yeah, because
The
if you're
DD.
not that, yeah, I did
That's a
experiment
good one.
with friends. Yeah, desperate and determined. So basically, if you are not desperate enough, you will not find anything. If you're not
Yeah,
determined
that's
enough, of
good.
course, yeah.
That's a good one. I haven't heard that one before, but
Yeah,
I will
it's
remember
my
that.
own creation.
Okay, let's bring the DD out into the world. You should post that on Twitter. Or yeah, another question, also one that a lot of new people in the scene always ask: what is your favorite tool for hacking? And for that question, I want to explicitly rule out intercepting proxies right now, because in a lot of times people just say, "Oh, it's Burp Suite," because I need that every day. Yeah, intercepting proxies is super important. But if you leave those out, what is your most favorite and most used hacking tool in your arsenal?
Actually, you caught me right there. I wanted to say burp.
Yeah, yeah, I knew that was about to come.
Yeah, but beside burp, I use dev tools. I use dev tools a lot because part of my role in ByteDance, I'm in charge of client-side security a lot. So like
Mhm.
post message XSS and the kind of XSS to RC bugs, uh, they require like expertise in like dev tools and to make simple snippets in the
Yeah.
console. Yeah, to understand the JS better, and I use it a lot actually.
And this is interesting because for me, I mean, with when you're saying the dev tools, you obviously mean the dev tools in the browser, right? In like Google Chrome or in like Firefox, whatever browser you use. But a lot of people, they don't think of the browser as a hacking tool. They always search for like tools outside of the browser, but the browser actually is one of the biggest hacking tools out there. So I'm excited that you mentioned the dev tools. Those are great. I love them as well. So another big question, and I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter, but a lot of people they always ask about mentoring, and I'm wondering. I personally didn't really have a mentor in my hacking career, so I cannot relate to that question too much. But I'm asking others. Do you, for example, have or had a mentor in the past that helped you in your hacking career?
Yeah, I think like most people, I have no mentors as well. I wish I had though. It can fasten my learning process. I do have
Mhm.
idols. Yeah, I do have idols that I really like File Descriptor, Frank Rawson. those guys are really great. I learned a lot from them.
But with those, I guess you mean you would read the write ups and stuff, right? So it's like it's not really mentoring, but you can just learn a lot from what they put out there on the internet. Yeah, mentoring is difficult because everybody's busy, right? You don't really have a lot of time to mentor a lot of folks.
Yep.
But but yeah, maybe
Yeah, and
we'll.
another problem is I'm not sure what's that called, the symptom. The uh there's some symptom work uh
Are you mean are you referring to imposter syndrome?
yeah, exactly, the imposter syndrome. So many people do not think themselves worthy of being a mentor, and same goes for me as well. So yeah, that's a big.
Yeah, that's a big one in the industry. But I mean, look at yourself. If you look at your submissions that you've handed in, you've already proven that you're super smart. So it's I know that many people have that, but I think people need to get that out of their heads. Like you are smart, you know a lot, so just be there and help others. But yeah, that's a big issue, imposter
Have
syndrome.
a big problem with that. I try to tell myself I'm smart, but I can't believe it.
Yeah, I'm 100% sure you are smart. So you gotta believe in yourself. So to conclude, speaking about new hackers, what is if you have one advice only to a new hacker out there, what is it that you would tell them?
Yeah, I think I answered that just now, right? The DD. That's
The DD, yeah.
yeah. The bugs will come definitely because if you're desperate enough, you'll get it eventually. Because I was really desperate for success. Just a quick story. I actually didn't submit a single bug for 3 months, and when I submitted my first bug, it was like a dupe, and the next few
Ooh.
bugs was like informative or like NA. I can't really remember. I try not to remember. Then, but I didn't give up because the guys around me, especially the local scene, they did not believe that we can succeed easily because in Singapore the hacking scene is really small, and there are people that have a lot of success stories in bug bounty, but there's no one from Singapore at that time. Before
Right.
my good friend Space Raccoon. So I was alone actually, and I managed to convince a few colleagues actually to work with me on this, but eventually all of them gave up. But I didn't give up at all. I was really desperate for my first bug, and I got it like 5 months later. I work 4 hours every day after work. I was really tired, but I really want it so bad. And when the first bug came, I knew that I could do it. And it gave me the determination to improve the other D.
Can you give me and the people listening right now an idea what you have done in those 5 months? So what helped you in those 5 months to go from informative, doop 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 to like, oh nice, a high vulnerability.
Yep. Actually, many beginners also make these mistakes. Like they recon a lot. I try to recon, but I think my recon skills is not up to par with many like top hackers. I knew that, but I just stupidly try again and again. Yeah. Uh, I tried to code my own work, but it didn't work out as well. I tried to hunt for like simple bugs like SSS, CSRS. Uh, it was not easy because I get many dupes with that. So I even tried to submit like rubbish bugs like rate limiting and the kind of stuff. Is
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, because I was
We've all done that.
so it's like because I'm from the penetration testing company previously, so we had to submit the kind of bugs right in pen test. So I thought bug bounty companies will accept that as well, but I was so wrong.
Yeah, there's a huge difference. I've been a penetration tester for myself as well for the previous 4 years, and it's not the same. Bug bounty and pen testing, two completely different things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
thank you.
I have a turning point to talk about. The turning point was to do things that no one else wants to do. So basically, like reverse
The
engineering.
dirty work.
Yeah, the dirty work. Yeah, I find that it works for me. So basically, I look at authentication issues. Like usually people just immediately log in, make an account and log in, and then use the feature in the site to find bugs. But
Mhm.
for me, I made an account, but I stay at the authentication page. I try to bypass the authentication. Yeah, I keep doing this kind of so-called boring stuff, but eventually I found some like interesting behaviors that many providers use, and eventually I learned it myself. Like I knew that this
Mhm.
was working for me, and I tried like this method across a lot of bug bounty programs. That's why you see that my bugs are quite diverse.
Okay, I mean that's great. And the good thing about authentication, just because you mentioned it, is, in my opinion, once you find something, you might have to spend a little more time on it, but once you find something, it's always at least high. Like if you break authentication, this is really bad.
Yep.
That's some really great insights. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
I do have a couple of questions for you right now. I hope you're ready for those.
Is it very tough?
No, 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 no. They're not tough. They're easy to answer.
Yeah.
So those are a couple of would you rather questions, by the way. So if I'm just shooting the first. Would you rather search for an XSS vulnerability or for an RCE when you start on a new program?
Oh. I actually do not search for neither. I don't search for either one.
Okay.
Yeah, like what I said just now, I prefer authentication issues. XSS is
Right. Yeah. Just said
like
that.
yeah, hard for me to find because even I find it is most of the time is due.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because it's just really popular, right? Like everybody searches for XSS.
right. Yeah, but like for RCE wise, it's even more rarer because we need to depend on the application context, such as like file upload. If there's no like framework or like RCE prone framework like Struts, it's very unlikely to get an RCE unless you get a 0 day.
Yeah, and that is, we all know, the hardest.
Yeah,
Not the thing you find every single day.
right.
Yeah, that's a good call. Next one. Would you rather collaborate and split the bounty or get the full bounty for yourself?
Actually, for me, definitely collaboration because I don't really care about money nowadays. It's not like I'm very rich, but I find that it gives me a sense of satisfaction when a team is working on a bug and we had success.
Have you had bounties before where you split the bounty between a couple of people?
Yeah, but not much. I think that I don't really collaborate that much because I can't really commit my time nowadays. Yeah, but if I have the chance
Mm.
to, definitely I'm open to collaboration.
And do you find like people to collaborate with on Discord channels, or where do you find people to collaborate with? Especially nowadays with COVID, it's not so easy, or easier. I don't know.
Yeah, I think in Slack, there's a forum, bug bounty forum, where we can ask each other for collaboration. That's one of
Hmm.
the places that I visit quite often.
The Bug Bunny forum, yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. All right, next question. Would you rather wanna be listed in Facebook's or in Google's Hall of Fame?
Google.
Yeah. Can you explain why?
Because Google is a pioneer of a lot of new technologies. Like for example, enterprise. They created the zero trust enterprise boundary. They also are willing to like research into new stuff.
The next one. This is a fun one. Would you rather try and go after hacking a car or an aeroplane?
Oh my goodness, aeroplane.
Yeah. Have you tried it before?
No way, I'll get into trouble, especially in Singapore where the laws are really strict here.
Yeah, and we obviously should not do that.
Yeah,
I just read about those stories a couple of times before where people found like a USB port underneath the seat or something like that.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then they
But
tried something,
yeah,
but
I heard some stories also, nightmare stories about airplanes still using like Windows XP.
oh man, yeah, yeah. So to everyone out there, do not hack airplanes. That's not cool. All right. Final question. Would you rather save your Buck Bunny reward money and buy yourself a Tesla, or would you save it up for a house?
Definitely house because I can't. In Singapore, there's no Tesla.
Really? You don't have Teslas in Singapore? I did not know.
Yeah,
Or are they just not shipping it there yet? Or what is the issue?
I'm not really sure about it, but
Okay, let me rephrase my question. Would you rather buy yourself a super fancy race car? It doesn't have to be a Tesla. Or would you go for a house?
I still will go for a house because in Singapore the traffic is really bad. Even you have like a Ferrari or like a Lamborghini, probably you can't go above like 80 kilometers anywhere or maybe 100
Yeah.
kilometers.
So it wouldn't make much sense, right?
Right.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Samuel, very, very much for taking the audience and me on with you on your journey. That was great. I really appreciate everything you told us today. Do you have any shout outs, any final words, anybody you want to mention?
Yeah, I would like to thank Inti for the swag and the integrity blog especially. It keeps me like updated about the security industry and saves me tons of time. So as everybody knows, the security industry moves really quickly, and
Right.
information gets updated regularly. And it's important to have like a compilation of like knowledge in a blog where every like pen testers or like bug bounty hunters can go up there and visit the new techniques and hopefully contribute more to the industry.
Are you referring to the Integrity Bug Bites newsletter?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a really great resource, by the way, to all watchers out there. I will link that down below in the description. Check it out. There's a lot of valuable information in there. All right. Any shout out to any person, any other hacker?
No.
All right. Then we're good. Let's wrap this up. Thank you again one more time, Samuel. It was really great talking to you. I hope we will meet at one point in life in Singapore, maybe, or somewhere else across the globe once COVID allows again. Obviously, we are not breaking rules here. And yeah, to everybody watching, make sure to check out all the other episodes of Hacker Heroes, and we'll see each other soon. So, this was our very first episode of our new show called Hacker Heroes. Thank you, folks out there, for watching. Once again, thank you to Samuel for being on the show with us. In the next episode, we're going to have an exciting guest, and you might know her for not just being a hacker, but also for presenting her PowerPoint slides on YouTube to all of you out there. And I'm speaking of Katie, aka Insider PhD. So make sure to check out our next episode. In the meantime, let us know in the comment section who you would want to have on the show and just provide some suggestions. Please subscribe in the top right corner, and I'll see you soon.